didn't grow up in a good neighborhood. There was a lot of gangs, a lot of violence, a lot of drugs. It would take me like 45 minutes to walk to school just because even though I live 5 minutes away, I had to go through 4 gang territories. So I just basically would walk around the whole area just to get to school. Um, when I was your age, it was really dangerous to, I didn't even think I was gonna make it to 21, to be honest with you. I don't know your circumstance now. I'm kind of detached from the hood and all that stuff, but when you would share with people, what you wanted to do, people would just laugh at you. But an interesting thing is that you don't know if you don't know your options, we all have to be good at something. So if you're not going to be good at being good, you're going to be good at being bad. And I knew a lot of my friends were good at being bad. And so even at your age, I had friends who were getting killed by gangs and stuff like that. It was just heartbreaking. But what I decided to do was, in order to make it, you really just have to separate yourself and not be a follower. You really have to be a leader. So I became a leader. And I basically made friends with those who were good kids, just like I was. One of the things I did too is that my early age, around your age, I started going to the YMCA because they had after-school programs. When I got a little older, and I mean like 12, 13, that's when I met Harv, because I started going to the boys club. Harv used to work at the boys club. So back then it was called the boys club. Now it's boys and girls club. So that's how I met him, and I was always connecting to either the boys club, YMCA, Park District. I was always keeping busy. And so to me, the formula is to always keep an eye out for the future, but you always have to surround yourself. I don't know if you guys ever heard the phrase, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. So if you hang around with bad people, people are going to look at you like you're a bad kid, okay? So I always made it a point to get away from the gang banging and all of that stuff and the drugs and all of that, and I just kept my little crew of good kids. Yes. I started my business, well, honestly, I'm going to answer that question this way. I started my first business when I was 9 years old. And let me explain. I would walk around the block, and I noticed that there was a lot of yards that had a lot of leaves, like you see now. So I bought a rake, and I started walking around the houses, and I would knock on the doors, and a lot of them were older people who just couldn't rake their leaves because they're weak or they have back problems or whatever. And I would ask them if I could rake their leaves, and I would charge them $2. And so I would rake like 10 yards, and I would have $20. And I'm like, okay, and that's how I was buying my toys, my sports stuff, like footballs and bats and balls and everything like that. When winter came, I put the rake away, I bought a shovel. Then I would ask other people, can I shovel your stairs and your sidewalk, and I'll charge you $2. And then I was doing that, and I was making, like, in a good week, I could make like $100. And I was only 9 years old. The other thing that I would do, and I don't recommend this though, but I don't know if I should say it, I would go to there was a store called A&P when I was a little kid, that's like Jewel. And I would stand in front of the store, and I would ask older people if I could help them take their groceries to the cars, and then they would give me change. And so I would be there all day. I would be there all day helping people with their groceries. So I was doing things like that. So I've always had the mindset of working for myself.
Did you buy any games with your money sometimes?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing is that, no, the thing is, that's a good question. Let me tell you why. I think that the key to living a long life is to have fun and to laugh a lot, and I think that's very healthy. And life is already serious in itself, and you already have to do homework, and you already, when you get older, you're going to have to go to work. But at the same time, you have to put a little bit of your time to having fun. You know what I mean? Just have fun. So So there's nothing wrong with buying games with your money. Has any of my family died?
You mean like in terms of gang violence died? Okay.
Yeah, I've had some cousins that were shot and killed. I have cousins who went to jail. I have cousins that are still in jail. But in my own immediate family, it's just me and my sister. So we're okay. I mean, we made it, you know. But yeah, I do have family members that died to violence. Yeah. No, I don't have any brothers. However, I like that question because in our culture, in the Puerto Rican culture, we have extended families, and I'm sure there's other cultures that also have extended families. And so I have a lot of other brothers that we may not be blood related, like I consider Hart my brother. So we're not blood related, but when he calls me, he says, hey, can you speak to, can you come and speak to this class? I'm gonna make time for my brother, so I'm here because of him. And he may not be blood related, but to me, he's my brother. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. How old am I? That's awesome. I'm 44. I could be your father. Not literally. Say that again? No, my sister is younger than me. She's 42. She's already a grandma, so. You have a question? Yes, I'll tell you that.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Braveheart. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. It's I like movies that are biofilms, biographical, and so it's a story about a guy in Scotland, William Wallace, and I just really like that. I like the theme. Yes, sir.
What's your favorite movie that you made?
Huh?
What's your favorite movie that
My favorite movie that I made? My favorite movie that I made, I just shot it this summer in Puerto Rico. It's called Mi Princesa, which in Spanish means my princess.
Wait, how do you spell it?
Mi Princesa, M-I space P-R-I-N-C-E-S-A. Mi Princesa. I love that movie because it's my first romance, my first romantic movie. It's loosely based, something that happened to me in my life with a former love of mine. And so
Don't say ew.
and the movie is shot in black and white, so and it's bilingual. And that movie will be out next year around February, so I'm really excited about that one.
Let's make sure we're quiet.
Did your cousins go to jail?
I have cousins who went to jail when they were in they were juveniles, so they went to juvenile hall and they were teenagers when they went to jail. Yeah, and I also had family members who went to jail as adults too. My favorite kids movie.
I don't know kids.
My favorite kids movie is Spy Kids. And my favorite cartoon, because that's, those are real kids. My favorite cartoon is, it's a movie. Movie-wise, is a tie between Shrek. I like Toy Story. But my favorite cartoons, they're little adult themes, because I love The Simpsons and I love Family Guy.
You shouldn't be watching those. Twice. One, twice. Few more questions.
Yes. The first movie I made is called Fastlane. That's the one that went around.
I actually stopped them from going around just because I wanted them to really pay attention to what you were
Okay.
saying. I'm going to send it back around in a second.
Cool. Fastlane is my first movie. Yes. My first book, Ghetto Faith. The one out there. You guys got to see it. Yes, ma'am.
Now, out of all three, because you said that you're a poet, and then you also write books, and you also do movies. What is your favorite? Out of all of them, which one do you enjoy the most?
Yeah, movies is what I enjoy the most.
Yes!
Yeah, making movies. But what I wanted to do is, every movie has a soundtrack. Every movie you have to have a script. So I felt like if I control the three entities, then it just stays, I have that power, you know what I mean? So like, I write the script, I could write a novel based on the script, I could publish the script through my publishing company. I could make the music for the movie, so I have a record label, so I could do soundtracks. And then I could shoot the movie because I have my own production company. So I wanted to control all three. But my favorite thing is being on set and making the movie. That is the biggest rush. Yes, sir. I have been, the question is, have I ever been in any of my movies? I have been in like 5 out of the 7. Yeah, I have been in, not because I want to be an actor, because I really don't, but sometimes your budget is just too small and you can't hire enough actors, and so then you start grabbing your friends or you put yourself in there because you just have to plug in those little holes.
All right, 2 more questions.
Who hasn't asked a question yet?
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Which college were you from?
Excuse me?
Which college were you from?
Which college?
Oh, Northeastern Illinois University. That's where I went to school. However, my degree has nothing to do with making movies or anything like that. My degree was in sociology and in human resource development. Young man right here. Or are you just sketching? Or you're going to ask a question? You were sketching, okay. Somebody who hasn't asked a question yet. The question is if any of my movies made it to the theater. I had one movie play in a theater earlier this year, and let me see. I've had a few movies in film festivals, which they play in theaters, and I had a movie that played in Brazil. I had a movie that played in France. Yes. The question is, how long does it take to make a movie?
About a day.
It depends. One of my movies, Scalene, which went around, that movie took us, the thing is that you have 3 phases. You have the pre-production, which is all your planning. You have principal photography, which is when you actually shoot it. And then you have post-production, when you have to do the editing and add the music and all of that stuff. So the whole process will take you anywhere between 12 to 18 months. Actually shooting the movie, like being on the set with the actors, that takes like 2 or 3 weeks. But everything else takes a long time. Yes, sir. The question is, did I shoot any movies of Puerto Rico? And the answer is, I was just in Puerto Rico this summer, and I was there for 3 months, and I shot 2 movies. And I'm about to leave on Thursday to shoot another movie in Puerto Rico. So I'll have 3 movies in Puerto Rico. Their names, the first one is Mi Princesa. The second one is called Demon in the Creek, so it's a horror movie. And then right now I'm about to shoot another movie that's a thriller, and it's called Magdalena.
If you know somebody that wants to get a book published in reader, how hard to get to you?
Yes.
I brought a DVD of the project that you invited me to be on. You got that queued up, right?
You know what? I actually am having some difficulty playing it, but you happen to have a laptop.
No, I didn't bring my laptop.
Okay, yeah, and mine is not allowing me to play it, so.
Okay, well, it's not going to play, but I was going to ask Carlos to introduce it, and since it's not going to be able to play now, maybe he could talk about it, because there are things that happen on TV that your parents get concerned about sometimes, and as you get older, you probably should be concerned about it. And one of those things happened, I think it was last year, right?